right, great. Today, I'm really excited about having a good friend of mine, Amanda Dake. Among other things, she has her own podcast, Amanda Dake Show. She's an educator. She has been a course creator. She's really a marketing expert. She also does really well with planning events. She's a speaker. And then most recently, she is an author. So I'm really excited to have you here today, Amanda, and look forward to getting to know you a little bit.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here too. I think you know me better than most people.
So I thought we'd start today, if you don't mind, just by talking a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so I born and raised in Oklahoma, and I've lived here my whole life, except for 1 year I lived in South Carolina, and then I came back. I started as high school science teacher and tennis coach, and I did that for 12 years. I got my master's degree in higher ed administration. I started a PhD in public policy. I just had my first son. I just wasn't learning anything. I wanted to be a cause for change, right? An agent for change. And basically, like through education or higher ed or public policy, my next step was to be in government. I was being forced to be in somebody else's box of what they thought was academically appropriate or correct or whatever. And I am not that person. I do not want to be put in a box. So, but I taught for 12 years. It was fun until it wasn't. Once I had my two sons, I felt like I wanted to spend more time with my own kids. But I also wanted to have a bigger impact on the world. I knew that I was meant for something bigger. I listened to a podcast today, actually, that talked about listening to your intuition or your inner guide. And I was trying to think about like, oh, when has this happened to me? When have these little like pushes come into my life? And quitting my career as a teacher was, I think, one of those internal knowings. Something happened on just a random day in February of 2011. And I went in without any preparation or in talking to anybody about it. And I told my administrator I wasn't going to come back after this school year. And a huge relief came over me. I was a little afraid because I didn't know what I was going to do. I had zero plan. But I knew that what I was doing was not it. And now I get to work with people that also have those little knowings, those nudges, and they don't know really exactly what to do with them. And that's what I get to do now, is help them navigate that next step.
Talk a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey. Obviously, like all of us, we keep pivoting and kind of changing a little bit. Walk us through a little bit of what you've done in the past, right up to what you're currently doing now.
A lot of people go, I've always been an entrepreneur. I was doing, selling things at 7 years old or whatever. And I used to not really identify with that until I started thinking about all the things I'd done in my life. As I became an adult with a career that wasn't making very much money, I was always looking for some kind of side hustle, right? And so I think that started my entrepreneurial journey by just figuring out what I could do extra on the side while still having my career. So I created a website once during the elections of Obama McCain. And this was before you could create websites with ease with the software you have now. I don't even know how I did this thing. I can't even remember how I did it. I taught myself how to create this website to sell t-shirts. And I wasn't one-sided or the other, but I created these t-shirts that was really against both candidates. So it didn't matter if you supported one, you could have the t-shirt from the other side. So we sold those. A friend of mine and I sold those at farmers markets. And I don't think we sold any on the website, but we felt like we needed the website to have street cred. So as social media started to come about in the early 2000s, I started using it to just for different reasons and really just to connect with others in my community. And I got really good at it before it was mainstream. And so when I left teaching, that's what I started doing. I went out and got a few clients and started doing social media for those businesses locally here in Oklahoma City. And looking back, I didn't need to replace a lot of income. I think I was bringing home like $1,500 a month, if you can imagine that. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, I just need to bring home $1,500 to $2,000 and I'm good. Just stay where I'm at. So I would offer my services for $500 a month. And that would be, to come and take pictures and post on social and do engagement and all of that back in 2011, 2012. Very different today than then. But it's funny how I started just like I'll do whatever I need to do, $500. I just get a couple clients and I'm taken care of. Well, as I got more into that world, I learned how important it was to start building an email list for a business. And the businesses I was working with did not know how to do that. So I taught myself how to do that and started offering that as an add-on service of doing lead generation and capturing those emails and nurture emails and all of that. And through that process, that's how I discovered ClickFunnels. And that was one of the first softwares that was really such an easy plug and play thing. You could build these campaigns and these websites without having much experience, with no coding or anything required. And so as I got better using that software, it was about 2014. Russell Brunson had his first live event, his first funnel hacking live, in this small ballroom in Planet Hollywood in Las Vegas. I signed up to become a certified partner with ClickFunnels. That meant I got to learn directly with Russell Brunson in Boise, Idaho at the time. And from there, my career just started blossoming into helping other larger business owners from all over the world get a better presence online, build out their sales funnels, their lead generation campaigns. And that just morphed into me helping people create their own courses. I started to like dig into my past, right? And my real experience of education, and helping people that wanted to create those types of resources for others. And I did that. So I don't know. It just like was this snowball effect. So now I am helping professionals, experts create. The majority of people I work with have ideas of things they want to create, but they don't know really how to put them into form like that other people can consume. And so that's what I help people do now, is I work with others to bring their ideas to life, get them out of their head, get them out of ChatGPT, get them out of their Google Drives and into something, an actual blueprint that they can use to create this course or live event or coaching program or even a service that they've had this idea for, and they just don't know how to bring it to fruition. And that's what I help people do now. So, but I do it in a way that it's really important for me to help people create something that is sustainable for them and not going to cause more stress or anxiety in their own, or overwhelm in their lives. A lot of people that I work with are ready to create something that is more of a legacy piece, if you will, something that will outlast them and continue to work when they're not working. And so I love to be able to make sure that whatever the idea is, that we structure it in a way that is in alignment with the life that the person actually wants to be living, and not creating another job for them.
Right. I love that, because I mean, what you're doing is they have the expertise, they have the idea, but they really need the design, the structure to actually decide how they want to move forward. And the fact that you're doing it with not the idea of creating a lot of stress for them, but you're trying to simplify it, make it easier, and make it quicker if it probably as well, so that then they get that legacy piece, because
Yeah.
these are seasoned, mature people that really have expertise, and they're really wanting to create that legacy component that probably they couldn't do without your help. So that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
They have tried for a long time. Usually they've had the idea, they may have tried to put it in words or in some type of structure, but I have a client that I worked with recently. She had been trying for 12 years to get her idea out of her own head and into the hands of the people she wanted to help. And, she bought every program, she bought every course from every guru, and she still hadn't been able to do it. And just after a few sessions together, it was ready to go. So it doesn't have to be complex.
You're like the Sherpa
Yeah.
guide. Who are the people you're actually looking for? What is their persona?
So the avatar is a sticky topic that a lot of us have to identify. Sometimes this might be the most difficult thing to do, is really discern who that ideal person is, because we're afraid that we're going to exclude someone. But that's not how it really works. My ideal person is usually 45 to 60 years old, and they have a wealth of lived experiences, and they are a lot like I was back in 2011, and know that they're meant for more, whether that's just more contribution, more exposure, more money, more all kinds of things. And they've had these ideas, like I said, for could be years, could be decades that they wanted to do this, and they just haven't figured out how, or they have this, thing in their head that says it's going to take me too long, or it's too complicated. So that's my person. I can work with them, like I said, for just a couple of sessions, maybe even one day. And we're able to pull that out of their head into something that is tangible, that they can then take to the next person, whether that's a website builder or a course builder. I don't actually build the physical course online, but now you leave me with a map, a complete roadmap of every next step that needs to be taken in order to bring your idea to life.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really exciting because, they're never probably going to get it done. And you mentioned this because I'm aware you have a method that you can actually connect with them and do really all of this you're talking about in a day.
Yeah, we
So,
can do it all in a
yeah,
day.
here
It sounds
everything is,
crazy. After
yeah.
12 or 13 years, you've been sitting on this idea and you're telling me that you can do this in a day? Like, yes, I can. So we start with making the decision and making sure that you have decided, or the client has decided that they actually want to do this thing and perhaps why. And I know that can sound a little kind of woo-woo, if you will, but everything needs to have a why. More than just, I just want to give back, or I just, it needs to be a very concrete thing. So we talk about that decision. What is the decision you're making and what is it that you're wanting to do? Then we just get really clear on that. We get clear on who it is that you want to serve, how you want to show up. And that brings into this alignment piece. How is this idea going to fit into the life that you want to live? And you and I talk about this a lot, about being very mindful of not building a business first and a life around it, but then building your life and the business fits into that. Because just like the work that you do with people, it's really to have the business first and the life secondary. And it's going to drain someone, right? It's going to burn them
Yeah,
out.
I often call it the second marriage.
Yeah,
It's,
it's a lot
it's,
of regret comes
yeah.
out of that and less fulfillment, wouldn't you say? Like when somebody does, and that's how we were taught to do it, by the way, right? We were taught to go for the business and then the life will happen.
Which sounds good, but it usually doesn't work as well. And
No.
much better to think about the life, design your life first, and then build a business that aligns with your life. And that just makes everything flow much better.
Yeah. So that's really important in the process that I work with people, is making sure that this thing that we're going to be creating is in alignment with that, especially for the people that are in the maybe later season of life, right? Or a second season or third season. You're not starting over necessarily. This isn't something that you're going to have to, work to the grind to make happen, because your expertise is so valuable and there are so many people that can learn from you. And
You already have the expertise.
yes,
You're just looking for a way maybe
to
to have a broader
package it up.
audience,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah. So we make sure that's all in alignment. And then once we know what that is, then we can structure it in a way that fits. Instead of, this isn't just like, okay, everybody that I work with creates a 12-week coaching program. Like, no, not everyone wants that. In fact, a client that I have right now, she's modeling how I am doing it, and she's creating a VIP coaching experience for the women that she wants to work with. That wasn't her. She thought she had to do it in a certain way and fit into somebody else's framework or somebody else's box, but that wasn't fitting her and what she wants for her life.
So
So
maybe a good way of wording it is you're really trying to understand your clients and what their aspirations are, and then help them consider different options
yes.
I mean, it could be a course, it could be a mastermind, it could be a wide range of different things. And then you're really customizing your work with your client to help your client accomplish what he or she wants to accomplish.
Yes, absolutely. So it's not, everybody that works with me doesn't create the same thing over and over again. Everyone gets to create what works for them and the way that they want to work with others. And that's why this isn't a group program. This isn't a course. You don't have to go through any kind of videos or modules. We do this all together.
Talk to me about transformation. After working with you, they're looking for a certain result. Sometimes we call it a transformation. They're here, they want to get here. So
Yeah.
what does that look like for the clients you work with?
I think the majority of people that I've worked with are relieved that they finally have this idea out of their head and into the world, or ready to go into the world. Most people that I've worked with in the past thought it was going to be this really arduous process. And all it is really just having meaningful conversation between us and being able to, I get to extract that genius from someone. And it's not hard. It's just making sure that we're going in the right direction that fits them. So I think the transformation is a lot of mental relief, but now we also have this plan on what's next and how quickly can we make this happen. So I have a client that I worked with. He was an orthodontist, but he is, and that takes a lot of schooling to become an orthodontist. It's not like, oh, I just decided to do this. It was a lot. But when he was in there, he worked with primarily teenagers, and he really felt called, like he had this nudge, right, that we talked about earlier, to want to work with teens in a different way. So he used to say, I make them smile on the outside, but he wanted to make them smile from the inside out. So he had this idea of wanting to have some program for teens, like as a life coach. As an orthodontist, that was not his skill set. He did not have any idea where to start even. We created his program. In less than 3 months, that program was live and being sold, and he was hitting $50,000 months from being able to follow his intuition, follow his dream, I guess you could say, to help teens smile from the inside out. And his motivation was not money, but the money was a byproduct of the expertise and passion that he put out into the marketplace. And now he's still going strong. He's still helping teens all over the country. He's definitely exceeded that $50,000 a month threshold that he set early on. So that was a big transformation, I think, for that client.
Well, this all sounds great, Amanda. And of course, I know you well, and I think you're maybe a little more modest than you're indicating today, because you do have that ability to be able to sort of take that brain, that download from their brain, and help them structure it and put it in order, think about whether they want to do a course or what they want to do, and then to send them out with a roadmap. And I know that you don't actually do the execution like funnels and all the other kind of things, but I know also you have some contacts of people that you can refer them to that do those things. So
so since I've been in this industry, I guess you could say, for how many years now? Over 15 years. I've built some really great relationships with people. And so once you have the map, I can also next step cut that learning curve of how to hire or who to hire to do what's next, because you have it in your hand. And then I can introduce you to the trusted professionals that I know and have worked with for many years to help you get it done. Especially, I love doing live events. And so if someone's having a workshop or they're wanting to plan an event, I have a system for that, and they're able to act quick and like I said, get that expertise out there to the people that are looking for it.
Let's say that someone's listening to the podcast today and they say, hey, sign me up. How do they get in touch with you?
You can go to amandadake.com. It's so simple. And then also, I'm on social media, all the social medias as Amanda Dake. So I connect with a lot of people there as well. And I have a podcast, like you mentioned at the beginning. And so I get to talk to really great people like yourself and others. And so you can listen to, just some of the things that we talk about, see if even my personality resonates with somebody that you'd like to be working with. Usually, we gravitate towards people for reasons. And so my podcast is a way to not only educate others, but to give them light bulb moments, right? And some encouragement on moving forward.
Listen, it's been really great to have you today on the podcast. I hope folks will reach out to you at Amanda Dake. Thanks again, Amanda, for joining us today. And folks, hope you'll reach out to Amanda. Take care.
Thanks, Dave.